What's up, everybody? Welcome to an actual hobby update video. It's not just a slideshow, it's an actual video of something I've been working on, which is that Sekhmet Terminator that I've been working on forever now. I started it at the same time I started the Primaris Captain model, expecting to kind of work on both off and on. Then I kind of got focused on the Primaris Captain model, but then I got to a point in thinking about Primaris stuff, particularly after getting the Dark Angels Codex, and just thinking about what I own for my Dark Angels, because that's my first and foremost army, if you will, thus far. This is the first army I got into 40k with, and I got my whole collecting over the years has been to the Dark Angels. So I was thinking about all that stuff, and is it worthwhile to actually get involved in a whole nother subsect of Space Marines to collect? And that made me basically decide to put the Primaris concept on the back burner for now. It's not gone forever, but it's just on the back burner. I still want to do stuff with it, mind you, but yeah, I haven't figured it out quite yet. Anyways, tangent aside, I decided to actually stop dragging my feet and get back into working on the Sekhmet Terminator test model. It's really unfair to call it a test model. I did a 1,000 Sun power number dude as a test model just to see how the whole effect and shebang would look and work over a gold, because I've done clear red over a silver before, but not over a gold, and I was pleased with it. So this is more just testing the waters on a Terminator model. Doing the Sekhmet Cataphracti, I have never made a Cataphracti model before or painted it up, so I want to get a feel that way, so I did one. But after this guy's done, I think I can at least assembly line portions of the Sekhmet stuff. Not to ruin detail, because doing it in this manner, which I'll get into in a moment, you're not really losing detail by assembly lining it. It just makes it go faster. So that's kind of the beauty, if you will, of and the ease of this Tisca Ruby-like effect of the way I do it, and the way a lot of people do it. So what I use is Vallejo's Liquid Gold. It's an alcohol-based paint, so keep that in mind if you want to get it yourself. And I use that as the base coat for the model. Everywhere that's going to be gold obviously gets the gold, and everywhere that's going to be red gets the gold as well. Basically, anywhere that isn't soft armor or cloth or leather bits gets gold. Outside of the weapons, they don't get gold. After that, I wash it all in like an Agrax Earth Shady type of brown, or you can do a sepia wash, whatever it is. When that dries, I try to dry brush the gold out a bit to pick out the detail and get it all ready, in the hopes of staying semi-neat in certain areas so I don't have to touch that gold, and then also for giving me good shading and highlighting for the clear red. And then the magic happens with Tamiya Clear Red, which is X27. It's a acrylic paint that's flammable. I always found that interesting. It works really well. It smells like cough medicine. Don't use it like cough medicine. But it works. I know there's other stuff out there, just putting it out there. You might find other clear reds. What I like about the Tamiya Clear Red, aside from I know it works and it works well, it's a nice red hue. There's some clear reds out there that are a bit more pinkish, and some out there that are almost kind of purplish. Others out there that might be too bright of a red, if that makes any sense. Tamiya Clear Red, for me, personally, my tastes, my eye, is a good hue of red for doing 1,000 Suns per heresy, which also incidentally works really well for when we do red talons over silver, instead of a gold, or doing Exorcist, doing the Tamiya Clear Red over gold over silver there too. It works for those forces as well. It also works nicely for doing gore effects. So it's just a nice hue of clear red, which is why I like Tamiya Clear Red. I have the alcohol-based ink that's red that does a very similar effect, but I'm still going to try and use Tamiya Clear Red on the bigger, flatter panels of vehicles, because the hue of the red is not going to be identical. And it'll be obvious over an entire Rhino, let's say, for example, or a Land Raider, when they have it next to these guys. It'll be really obvious. So I want to try and get the Tamiya Clear Red to work without having an airbrush. So we'll see. I can always stall it by doing more infantry models and maybe eventually get the airbrush to do the clear red on the vehicles. Anyways, tangent again. Welcome to the channel. I ramble on way too long. Anyways, with that said, I do use Tamiya's thinner for their acrylics, and I just pour right into the pot and I shake it up. If you're gonna thin out the clear red paint or Tamiya paints, I definitely recommend using Tamiya's thinner. Something about the way that their acrylics are, it just feels different from acrylics from Citadel, Vallejo, um, Army Painter, or whatever. They just feel different, and therefore I don't risk it. I just use Tamiya's thinners. But rinsing your brush out is the same as using acrylics. I haven't found anything excessive or needing to worry about. 2 to 3 coats, depending upon how uniform the red is, will be sufficient for getting this type of effect, which is going to dry very glossy. It's going to almost look like lacquered armor. And if you're going for that effect, great. I like it, but I don't want it for my total finished effect. So I'm going to use a satin varnish over the entire model to kind of make it more uniform, because it does, in my opinion, steal from the gold. But if you're not going to have gold, let's say you're going to have darker metals or darker colors and accenting it, and you don't really care, or it works out for you that way, and you want the red to be super shiny above all else, well, you're basically done by just applying the clear red. Anyways, it goes relatively quick. The coating, you just gotta let it dry thoroughly, put a second coat on, and even a third coat if necessary, and then you end up with basically what you see here, which really looks good. And it's, for me, what I like about this over doing it over a silver is that it feels warmer, especially in person. Looking at it to the eye, it just feels warmer when the light hits it and everything. So that's why I do it over a gold. The next step is to clean up the gold. So everywhere that's going to stay gold, I'm going to clean up with a fine detail brush and Vallejo's liquid gold. And if necessary, I'll shade it a little bit and then pick it out with some dry brushing again very carefully. Then the gold will be done, and then it's onto the white accent color for the armor and for the weapon, and then the copper for the weapon as well, because I'm going to do the weapons in copper for all the metal effects of the weapons. So the blade of the Kopesh and stuff will be copper. The handle will be white, where the grip is. The bolter, the combi bolter, is going to have all its metal parts copper, and it's going to have the colored part white. And then from there, it's just doing a little accent like gem work, eye color for the helmet lens, soft armor bits, and like techie bits on the back here. And the model is close to done. One thing I found out from doing the power armor guy, and even just kind of discover about doing it here, is that this effect goes quickly once you actually sit down and do it, and devote some some time, even if it's just here and there to it. You're going to get the effect to go off pretty quick. So that's always a plus. Anyways, that's my Sekhmet Terminator progress ramble, if you will. The red is done. So now it's just a case of getting everything else to be up to snuff for it. And then when you next see this guy, I don't know how long it's going to take because I'm busy with work and other stuff. For like, I'm looking for another place to live and so forth. So because I want to, nothing bad. So I'm going to be a little bit busy, but I'm going to do my best to finish this model up in a more timely fashion, because A, I need to. I've been working on this model for far too long. And B, I want to work on the rest of the squad. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks very much for sticking through it. Leave any question, comments, or requests in the comment section. And until next time, take it easy.